All right. Good afternoon. My name's Anthony. I'm going to give you a little background on myself and my dream career. I was originally raised in Connecticut, and throughout my military career, I've been all over the country, Alaska, Utah, just to name a few to keep it short. After high school, I went to trade school to become an electrician, and during that time, going through night school with that, I was doing low voltage with Comcast. I did that for about a year before I got my apprenticeship with a contractor doing electrical work. Did that for about a year, and then eventually work got slow, got laid off. That's when I went into the military, the Air Force, and from there it was about a 6-year career, and that's when I first got introduced to engineering and beat making because I met a friend back in 2016 who played guitar and introduced me to Fruity Loops. And that's when we were making beats in his dorm room. That's what I started doing, making beats. And then I did more research because at that time I only really knew about producing and beat making. I didn't really have a great understanding of engineering. Did my research. That's when I came across Full Sail. Um, did my research, came across Full Sail, wanted to get into engineering. Looked up people like Derek Ali, Alex Toomey, Anthony Cruz, just some people that I look up to. And my dream career would be a mix engineer, recording engineer in a studio setting, more freelancing. But I know I'll start at the bottom as far as like interning and then get in a studio, stuff like that. And then eventually work up to assistant. After assistant, build that confidence, get that workflow, and then just use those people ahead of me as mentors to be a better engineer. And then the first job, and the first two people I did research on was Christopher Holmes, who was an engineer and producer. He was a Full Sail grad, and David Eisenhower, who's a front of house engineer. Chris, after graduating Full Sail, moved to LA and is kind of wearing both hats out there, producer and engineer. He worked with bands like Blink-182, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica, Audio Slave, Weezer, and a bunch of other ones. And what I got from this article is basically, besides wearing two hats as engineer, producer, he's also, one thing that was really important in there was file management. And I know that was stressed a lot on us so far, and myself being in school as a just file management, making sure everything's good. And as far as file management is just when he's working with those bands, just making sure he's listening to their past music, seeing what they like, what their sound is, so that way when he's in the studio, he's got a better workflow with them. And then David is a front of house engineer. He started at 15 running sound for his band. And then one of the guys called Sick, that's how that came about. Then at around 1920, he had his own like PA system, and he would rent it out to local bands coming through. And that's how he got his money that way. His first break was Sheryl Crow in 92. And then from there, he's worked front of house, doing shows all over the world. Second, my first career job would be assistant mix engineer. And pictured right there is Anthony Cruz and Young Guru. Young Guru was the engineer for Jay-Z, and Anthony Cruz, pictured to the left right there, was his intern at the time that worked under Young Guru at Rock the Mic Studios in New York. And the reason I picked this as my first career choice because it's a good way to get more knowledge, get more comfortable, build confidence. That way when you're finally freelancing by yourself, you're just more confident with your workflow. And then my second career choice, is sound assistant for film and TV. The reason that's a good choice for my second career is because it gives you good hands-on experience with the boom mic, how the gear's working, get you more hands-on. It's not as stressful as just being in that chair, being in the studio, working a session. And then my third career choice would be sequencing. Sequencing, just like what I learned in fundamentals of music and scoring. You're basically just taking what you got off a music sheet and translating that into logic so you can recreate that sound. Then I got a short video right here, Anthony Cruz. Anthony Cruz right there. And then thank you for coming out, watching the presentation. Enjoy your day.